Lately, I've been seeing a ton of Fortnite videos on my feed talking about Fortnite lost media, and while a lot of them are pretty informative, most of the time they cover stuff that A, everybody knows about, or B, things that aren't really lost at all. So, I decided to look into Fortnite Battle Royale's cut content. Now, Fortnite has had its fair share of scrapped ideas, as it was in development since 2011, but Battle Royale is on a completely different level. I've always found fascinating just how much content was planned but never made it into the game. So in this video, we're going to take a look at Fortnite Battle Royale content that was once intended to be added, but ended up being scrapped for good. Epic Games Apple lawsuit. On May 8th, 2021, business documents containing upcoming Fortnite content and business-related content about Fortnite were released to the public. Here we can find loads of cut content that was once planned to be added to Fortnite at some point. The Club. The Club was one of two early versions of the Fortnite crew, with the difference being that it included exclusive access to the Club, a game mode similar to Party Royale, basketball mode. In a similar fashion to NBA 2K, Fortnite was supposed to get its own basketball game with minigames. Not sure if it was fully meant to be a mode or just like an arcade basketball minigame, as in another document it states that in October 2020 they plan to add basketball minigames to Party Royale alongside a collaboration with the NBA. Cut collaborations. In Chapter 2 Season 5, Epic intended to represent Nintendo alongside Master Chief and Kratos in Fortnite's Gaming Legends series. But Nintendo, which is the rightful owner of the character Samus, would only give Epic Games the rights to the character with the one condition that the cosmetics for Samus could only be seen in Nintendo Switch consoles. Epic refused due to the fact that they wanted a character to be universally used on whatever device you were on. Samus was also hinted through the Batman x Fortnite Issue 3 comic, where you're able to see a silhouette of Samus in the background. Although Samus is cut from the game, Epic and Nintendo collaborated again in the form of a Kirby-inspired emote. Other characters like Katniss Everdeen, John McClane, Snake Plissken, The Bride, and Tyler Rake were once considered to be added into Fortnite. Out of all of these, Tyler Rake was the only one that was modeled but not finished, as it was only missing the head, likely due to likeness rights for Chris Hemsworth not being acquired yet. Also, during these documents, there was one icon emote that was scrapped. Single Ladies by Beyonce. Fortnite x Marvel, Order Restored. Fortnite x Marvel Order Restored is a scrapped series of comic books that was supposed to be released in between Chapter 4 Season 1 and Chapter 4 Season 4. It was supposed to follow the story of the Imagined Order prior to their defeat against the Seven and what they were doing behind the scenes. According to a leak, the protagonist was an agent of the Imagined Order, whose mission was to monitor the different realities and track down various dangerous targets in the Omniverse, including characters known in Fortnite as well as Reality 616. Dr. Doom and Galactus were also said to be unwashed. The leaks also revealed that Kato Thorne was to appear in the comics as one of the targets of the Imagined Order and fight the Collector from Reality 616. Some of the project's ideas may have been recycled for Chapter 5 Season 4 Absolute Doom. Cosmetics. One thing that constantly excites the Fortnite community is cosmetic leaks, as they give players a heads up on upcoming cosmetics, allowing them to save their V-Bucks in advance. However, some of these leaked cosmetics, whether found in the files or spotted in promotional material, end up being removed and never make it into the game. Moss Legends Pack. Moss Legends Pack was a pack that was revealed in 2021 during the Destiny 2 collaboration. This pack was briefly featured in the trailer, and the pack would have included 3 skins: Moss Knight, Moss Bright Bomber, and Moss Omega, along with a backbling, a pickaxe for each skin, and a loading screen. Sadly, there's no other information on whether this bundle will ever see the light of day. Fortnite x Formula 1. In Chapter 5 Season 1, Fortnite planned to collaborate with Formula 1 to release a set of Razor-themed skins. However, for unknown reasons, the collaboration appeared to be cancelled or scrapped, as when Fortnite LEGO launched, all related files were removed and Epic never mentioned the collaboration again. One possible explanation could be the changes within the F1 teams themselves. At the time, there were 10 official teams included in the files, but 2 of them underwent rebranding shortly after. AlphaTauri became the Visa Cash App Racing Bulls team, and Alfa Romeo transitioned into the Stake F1 team Kick Sauber. These changes might have complicated licensing agreements or branding plans tied to the collaboration. As I was editing this video, it was announced that these skins are now planned to release with the aforementioned changes. Hot Champ. This skin was a community concept made by Denny, The backbling featured in the concept was added as a crew pack bonus, but the skin itself wouldn't be added to the game for unknown reasons. If I had to guess, it was probably due to the incident that happened with Harmony Lee, as we haven't seen any community-made skins ever since. Battle Breakers. Battle Breakers was a turn-based game developed by Epic Games and released on November 14, 2019. To promote it to a wider audience, Epic added 2 characters from the game into Fortnite. However, at one point they also planned to introduce 2 more skins, Nightshade Celine and Sergeant Albeck. With Battle Breakers shutting down in 2022, likely due to its commercial failure, it's unlikely that these characters will ever make it into Fortnite. Chapter 1 Season 9 Skins. In Chapter 1 Season 9, Epic replaced Retail Row, which had been destroyed in the volcano eruption, with Mega Mall. Inside the mall there was a store called Toys that featured 2 mannequins. These mannequins, alongside 2 others that aren't featured in the game, are believed to be part of an unreleased cosmetic set with the codename Escape Puppet. The set was supposed to include a female skin, a male skin referred to as Fuzzy, and 2 other variants, one wearing a hat and another with suspenders as seen in early images. A pickaxe and glider were also associated with the set, alongside 4 themed backblings, a guitar, a horn, a jackpot sign, and a stack of tickets. Leprechaun. This St. Patrick's Day reskin of Havoc was only seen in a promotional image for Creative on November 11, 2019. His backbling named Lucky Coins was released, but the skin remains unreleased. Stealth White Blue. On July 11, 2019, Allier would upload a video redeeming the newly PlayStation exclusive Neo Versa, but when he redeemed the code, a different icon was displayed showcasing a black and white blue version of the Shadow Ops skin. It is unknown if this is the next exclusive skin to be released before Neo Versa or after, but the skin would be reused again in Chapter 5 Season 3 as an edit style for Shadow Ops, though the blue would be replaced by red. Slurp Monster Summer. Slurp Monster Summer refers to a summer version of the Ripley vs. Sludge skin. Textures for the skin were added to the files on July 20, 2021 alongside a backbling and a pickaxe. The skin would never be released and the backbling was sold in the item shop for 400 V-Bucks. The pickaxe that was included in the set was given out in the Best Frenzy event. Shadow Series. Kuno and Kenji were supposed to have shadow counterparts. Dirt Boxer. This skin is believed to be the Dirt Boxer concept by Reddit user Ricade15. Save the World. Many Save the World characters were added to Battle Royale skins such as Penny and Lars, but they also intended to add Dennis and the director to Battle Royale. DC Comics. Seesaw Fuzzy and Seesaw C were 2 male characters from the Suicide Squad that were meant to be added. It is believed to be Weasel, Fuzzy, and King Shark C. Voxel Jonesy. Voxel Jonesy is a remix of Jonesy that could be based on voxel art. Similar to the 3D dot game heroes are the 2015 film Pixels. The General. The General was a plain outfit in Fortnite created by Matthew Lau. On July 23, 2023, he uploaded to ArtStation this skin alongside other concept arts of released outfits, including a lot of the members of The Last Reality, such as the Cube Queen, Crimea, and Transpasser Elite. However, just a few hours after its upload, the ArtStation page was deleted, indicating that it was most likely not supposed to be revealed. Epic never added a codename or a file related to this concept, and we will never know if this ever went past the concept stage. Snap Babyhead. The Snap skin was going to originally have a babyhead variant for its head options. The artist for the matchup loading screen also showed an early version of the loading screen that confirms this as well. Here's how it looks in game, and if I had to guess, it was probably scrapped due to it being too creepy. Remix Haven. Epic was possibly working on a Remix Haven as seen in this concept art by Drew Hill, featuring different versions of the skin. Thrill Diver. Fortnite's newest exclusive skin has a scrap version codenamed character_summer suitable. Pie Patron. During the Free Fortnite movement, Epic handed out the Tart Tycoon skin for free through the Free Fortnite Cup, but recently Tim Sweeney revealed that Epic had also designed another skin called Pie Patron, which was meant to be released if Epic and Apple ever reach an agreement. Chomp Sir. Now this skin already does exist, but when Fortnite announced Loki as part of the July 2021 crew pack, they released a cinematic trailer where Chomp Sir makes an appearance. However, in this trailer, he's shown wearing a very different style than the one we actually have in game. Mitosis. The skin was originally meant to be part of the Chapter 3 Season 3 Battle Pass, but was eventually scrapped and replaced with Stormfarer. The first time we actually heard about this skin was on December 15, 2021 through a cosmetic survey. Interestingly, it even had a human style shown in the concept art for the same season that it was supposed to release. The skin itself would come with a full set, including a backbling, glider, contrail, pickaxe, emote, and wrap. That wrap ended up later releasing in Chapter 5 Season 4 as part of the wrap style pack, which was a PlayStation Plus exclusive. But there's still a bit of leftover lore tied modified to this skin. Malik's honor wrap shows the King's Oath pickaxe piercing through what it looks to be the face of mitosis. That same face can also be found on the Griffin's Talon back bling, though this time it's missing its signature colors. Grim Horizon set. The Grim Horizon set was an item shop bundle first added to the files in Chapter 4 Season 1. It included a skin, a back bling, a glider, and a pickaxe, though the pickaxe, named Reactor Thrasher, was the only one that actually had a model in the files. The skin itself had already been seen before in cosmetic surveys, but it is currently unknown if Epic will ever release this set. Raptor Remix. The skin was shown off through a promotional video for the Squabble emote and was never mentioned again or added to the files after this video. Peely Pool. As part of the Deadpool matchups in Chapter 2 Season 2, Epic decided to run it back and created 2 more mashups of Deadpool with original Fortnite characters, those being Fishpool and Peely Pool. Peely Pool was teased twice all the way back in 2020 through art in the Deadpool Battle Buzz and the Scooting emote. It was later teased at D23 alongside the Pilverines, but it was never added. Unnamed character. In an early version of Cabby-Lam's loading screen, we could see some sort of samurai skin next to Phoenix wielding 2 swords. The loading screen was later changed and removed the character from the loading screen. Rebel Leia Organa. This skin could have been Leia in her Hoth clothes from Episode 5 The Empire Strikes Back and would have been for Star Wars Day 2024. Aphrodite concept art. Aphrodite originally had a model closer to her concept art in early production, but it was later scrapped to the model used in game. I'm not sure why it was scrapped, as this version looks a lot better than the one we got. Artist Showcase set. This set includes 10 different skins, and each skin allows you to use your loading screens as graphic shirts. While it's unclear if these were ever scrapped, they were found in a Chapter 5 Season 4 build of the game. Given Epic Games' history of releasing content years later, there's still a chance that these could be released in the future. Fortnite x Dead by Daylight. Back in 2022, rumors started circulating that Behavior Interactive, the studio behind Dead by Daylight, was pitching a collaboration to Epic Games. At the time, all we knew was that the collaboration would include a llama charm for Dead by Daylight and a Meg Thomas skin in Fortnite. Beyond that, nothing else was known about this initial pitch. Then, on October 9th, 2025, a Reddit user uploaded 2 images of scrapped concept art that Behavior had pitched to Epic. The concept showed that they planned to bring the Trapper and the Huntress alongside Dwight Fairfield and Feng Ming into Fortnite as skins. These discussions took place in early 2024, probably with the goal of releasing the crossover during Fortnitemares 2024. However, in the end, Epic decided to reject the proposal. Brilliant Bomber. Shortly after Epic Games began developing the Fortnite Crew subscription, they also started work on an annual pass that would grant players battle bundles for the next 4 seasons alongside 3 exclusive outfits. However, one of these outfits, Brilliant Bomber, was never officially released. But if you were around in December 2019 while the annual pass was still listed in the API, you were able to manage to purchase the skin through a Discord bot exploit. Now, most who obtained it this way had either the skin removed or were banned, but if you go on YouTube, you will see a bunch of videos with people with the skin, and this is because these accounts are developer accounts that were compromised. Still, data indicates that around 50 actual players retain ownership of the skin, with one publicly known player, making them one of the few to own Brilliant Bomber without a developer account. Kanye West. During the rollout for Kanye's Donda 2, his team reportedly planned a collaboration with Epic Games that would have likely included promotional material for the album and possibly Kanye-themed cosmetics. It's unclear if Epic and Kanye seriously discussed the idea, but considering what happened later that year, it's safe to assume that those talks didn't go that far if they ever happened. There were also rumors that Kanye had hand in designing the Sonner skin, which was supposedly meant to feature a track from Donda 2. However, the collaboration reportedly fell through after Kanye didn't show up to a meeting. This claim was never confirmed, and the skin eventually released without any mention of Kanye's involvement. Harmony Lee. The skin was a fan concept by Not Fury. She was scrapped and subsequently removed from the files after it came to light that Fury wanted an iPhone 13 while they were 17 and 18. They also had a locker bundle which was supposed to be released possibly alongside the skin, but it was also cancelled. The sad part about this fan concept was that it was the last straw that broke the camel's back, as Epic has not added a single community created cosmetic into Fortnite ever since. Fortnite x Stranger Things. In early stages of the first Stranger Things collaboration, Epic originally planned to add Hawkins National Laboratory to the map. However, the idea was eventually scrapped in favor of the Upside Down Portal in the Scoopsahoy location at Mega Mall. This choice fit well since the final battle in the show takes place in a mall. Emotes. Singing in the Rain. On May 7, 2021, stunt performer Kimberly Kicks uploaded a TikTok, and in this TikTok we can see her doing mocap for a scrapped emote that used audio from the 1952 musical of the same name. Belly Dance. Belly Dance is an emote that is believed to belong to the Rustler skin, as she is seen dancing in the Chapter 2 Season 1 cinematic with this emote, Cryptography. This emote would have used audio from the unreleased song by the Migos and the Baby titled AM to PM. Scrap Travis Scott emote. Travis Scott was supposed to receive a third emote codenamed Cyclone Jumps. The arm movements allude to jumping suggested by the codename. Ariana Grande emote. Ariana Grande was supposed to receive another emote codenamed Buffet. This emote is a synced emote and it has no limit on how many players can join in, similar to Shout or Scout Regime Salute. There are many videos that claim to showcase this emote, but it's not true as they use animations from the concert and the emote itself is unknown. Default Dance. Before the default dance became standard for every account, it was originally featured in Save the World and tied to different hero types. For example, the versions you hear today come from the soldier and ninja heroes. When you use the emote with those equipped, it would play the sound specific to their class, and they even had unique voice lines during the emote. Outlander and Constructor heroes had also their own versions. The Outlander sound was initially in the game alongside Soldier and Ninja, but was later removed in Update 3.30 due to its strong resemblance to the intro of George Michael's Faith. As for the Constructor version, it was never added to Battle Royale. Uninhibited. In the files for a development build of Fortnite Absolute Doom is an unfinished emote codenamed Blank Paper. This emote contains a remix audio from the song Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield, though it is completely unfinished and is supposed to have facial expressions. Here's how that sounds. Big time. Last year, it was revealed that the notorious B.I.G. will receive a jam track featuring his song Hypnotize. However, the track was never released. Recently, it was discovered that his jam track may have been paired with an emote originally planned for Fortnite Chapter 2 Remix. It's currently unknown whether Epic Games still intends to release the emote along with the track. To Knock Tune. This Icon series emote was first added to the files in Chapter 3 Season 1, but was later removed a season later. It was based on a popular dance performed by Punjabi singer Dollar Mandi and his 1998 music video, which eventually became an internet meme. The emote's release was most likely cancelled after Epic became aware of past controversies involving Dollar Mandi, who had been sentenced to 2 years in prison for a human case. Epic usually avoids anything that could spark controversy or hurt their image, so the emote was quietly scrapped. Storm Salutation. This emote was first added in Season 3 and was a clear reference to Dark Souls' iconic Praise the Sun emote. It was supposed to be given away as a Save the World Founders bonus, but was later scrapped and most likely reworked into the Praise the Tomato emote, which was later released in Season 5. Consumables. Durables Fries. Heals the player for 5 health and gives a 20% increased movement speed buff for 20 seconds when consumed. This was later replaced by the Hot Sauce. Durables Hot Sauce. This one could be compared to the chili that's found in the game, just visually looks different. All the durable items were supposed to be able to be picked up, but the functionality was never finished before they were scrapped and replaced with new items. Durable Shake. Works like the shield mushrooms but gives 10 shields instead of 5. It was supposed to spawn around Greasy Grove but could also spawn randomly around the map. Durable Burgers. These were supposed to spawn naturally at the Dur Burger restaurant in Greasy Grove. I don't know why they cut this, but they heal 10 HP per burger. Honeycomb. It functions exactly like the coconut consumable that heals 5 HP or shield, and it also plays the old shield drink animation when consumed. Prickly Pear. This consumable was supposed to be added to the game sometime in Season 5 and would be obtainable from the deserted parts of Paradise Palms from the cacti. It had a 50% chance of either hurting or healing you when consumed. Carrot. A carrot model was found in the files in Season 7, but I'm not sure if it was ever finished and not much is known about it. Dur Burger Helmet. The Dur Burger Helmet is a rare consumable in which would have protected the player from a single instance of critical damage, aka a headshot. It would have replaced your head with a Dur Burger head similar to the Food Fight LTM and takes 2 seconds to apply. The description reads, a corporate mascot helmet that protects from a single instance of critical damage. Supply Drop Beacon. This item is found in the plugin folder for the game's creative mode. This item was likely an early version of the supply drop device, but interestingly, this item is very identical to the early version of the dial drop item. Power Guitar. This was added to the files around Chapter 4, and the item requires the player to hit circles on time like a rhythm game to deal more damage to the surrounding area. although it seems that it never got programmed in. It could also be an early version of the Ride the Lightning mythic. Beehive Grenade. It's basically a grenade that throws down a beehive which could have done 15 damage every second to enemy players, similar to the bee lobbers in Fortnite Save the World. Concussion Mine. The concussion mine would function similarly to the proximity mine, where if a player gets near, it explodes. Chapter 3 Scrapped Items. Back in Chapter 3, Epic worked on a system that allowed you to cook food in a pot. If you left the food unattended, the food could get burnt. Here's all the foods that you can make. The different types of dishes that you can make were fish and veggies, fish sticks, slurp dishes, and more. This wasn't the only thing scrapped, as a big thing during this chapter was wildlife, and they plan to add bears and rats, with the rats spawning in a nest, and a glorious meeple. Now, the glorious meeple seems to be a variation of a boar, but this version was able to fly. Backpacks. Backpacks are items in Battle Royale that, when picked up, replaces the player's backbling and gives the player new capabilities. At one point, the development team at Epic had more plans for backpacks, and the jetpack was only supposed to be the first of many. But unfortunately, that plan never came into fruition, and the only backpack that was added was the jetpack, along with several reskins. However, after the release of version 4.20 and the addition of the jetpack, many other backpacks were leaked. Eye of the Storm Tracker. This was a rare backpack that would show where the next circle was on the map and the minimap as a yellow tinted circle. It was added to the files in version 4.20 and subsequently mistakenly added to the loot pool in place of the jetpack. On the ground, the item had the appearance of the skirmish backbling. Upon picking up the item, it would replace the player's current backbling with the item, similar to how jetpacks work. Noticing their mistake, the item was quickly removed from the loot pool and replaced with the jetpack within 30 minutes of the update releasing, making it one of the fastest item removals in Fortnite history. Medic Pack. Medic Pack allow you to revive yourself when downed. It was added to the game files in version 4.20, and while the exact effect of this item would have given is unknown, it was likely intended to give players the ability to self-revive and or revive teammates faster. Visually, the item appeared to be a semi-futuristic medical backpack. Unlike the Eye of the Storm Tracker, the item had no usable code attached to it, meaning it was very early in development. The description reads, "Carry your allies to victory with this advanced life-saving equipment." Intel Pack. Intel Pack was very similar to the Eye of the Storm Tracker, where it would display the next storm circle to the player. Additionally, it would also reveal nearby loot and play a sound when enemies are nearby, making it seemingly a direct upgrade to the Eye of the Storm Tracker. The description reads, "Find the Eye of the Storm and reveal nearby loot and enemies." Double Jump Backpack. This allowed the player to gain the ninja's double jump ability from Save the World. It was very bare bones and no changes were made visually to the effect when you initiated a double jump. Missile Battery Pack. The Missile Battery Pack would have allowed the player to aim a reticle and fire a barrage of rockets up into the air, which would then fall into the location you aimed at. It had a 5-second cooldown and unlimited uses. When in your inventory, the Missile Battery Pack has the icon of the vintage backbling, and replaces your backbling with a version of the Save the World Outlander Gunblazer Southeast backbling that is enlarged and turned upside down. Guided Missile Pack. This backpack was planned to be released in Chapter 1 Season 5, and it was created as an attempt at balancing the vaulted guided missile launcher. While held, the pack would decrease your movement speed and equip you with a guided missile launcher. The item had a limited number of uses before it would be unusable, similar to fuel in a jetpack. The inventory icon was shared with the icon next to the inventory keybind on screen. The description reads, "It's back." A couple of more backpacks also existed, such as a glider backpack that I assume would deploy your glider, an airstrike backpack that uses the airstrike upgrade from Save the World, and a treasure related backpack. Scrap Modes. Arnold. Arnold was originally designed as a sandbox mode for Chapter 5 Season 1. It featured an open world lobby that players could freely explore that had NPCs, various vendors, and even bosses. The mode also included wildlife, dynamic POIs, cutscenes, and a crafting system. Players would spawn in a Marauder capsule. Following suspicions that the game mode had been scrapped, Arnold seems to have been revamped as an extraction shooter. Saturn. Saturn was a dungeon crawl mode featuring smaller versions of certain outfits that was said to be an open world RPG mode. This mode was fully removed from Fortnite's endpoint on August 10, 2021, and only one image exists of this mode. Mortal Kombat LTM. Codenamed Coffee Muffin, this LTM would have included 2 boons. Icy Slide, gain icy speed boost while sliding. Zero Chance, temporarily gain 0 point dash when you break an enemy's shield, overshield included. It also had a ranked mode and was teased a couple days before the expected release on April 1st, 2025, but for unknown reasons it never released on that day. Fortnite. The This mode was a normal battle royale game, but with only 50 players instead of 100. Have honest. Deal more damage, take more damage, close range weapons only. The blues and purple rain LTMs. All weapon drops are rare, storm circles move a bit quickly, building material and farming rates are increased. The same text is used for the purple rain, though instead of rare weapons it's epic. It was most likely scrapped for not being as complex as the other LTMs featured in the Summer Splash event. Automatics. The only weapons in the game are automatic firing ones, spray and pray, Athena_face off. Now this isn't an LTM but rather a map, and I will explain why I added this in this category. This small map is speculated to be a leftover of a capture the flag mode that Epic was developing before they decided to make Battle Royale. It was added in version 0.7.2 or earlier, as the exact build is unknown due to other Season 1 builds being lost, but it was later removed and added again in version 1.5, and in this version it got a vending machine added, and the last build for this mode was in Season X. Scrapped features. Battle Book. Battle Book was the original concept of the Battle Pass. It was supposed to be added at the start of Season 1 but later pushed back to Season 2 and renamed the Battle Pass. The Battle Book also originally had 100 levels but was cut down to 70 for the Season 2 Battle Pass. Charms. In an early version of the Battle Pass that was used in Season 2 Season 1, mentions of a cosmetic item called Charms are seen with the description reading, "More than just new cosmetic items, these dynamic accessories show off your personal achievements." Messaging system. Before private messaging was added, Epic was working on a messaging system that would work between players. It seems that it didn't go far in development as it doesn't do much. Purchase confirmation. Yes, you heard that right. Epic made a purchase confirmation button that was supposed to be added along with an undo purchase in Season 9. Apparently this was added to the game but only for select countries due to legal reasons. I feel like they didn't add this one to the game probably because they knew they would lose a lot of money from less misclicks. Additional locker slots. A lot of features that had been added to Fortnite had been in the plans for years. A perfect example is the recent addition of sidekicks, a concept originally added in Chapter 1 Season 6 that didn't work out as expected and was reworked many years later into what it is today. But besides this locker slot, many other locker slots were planned to be added to the game, and they are as follows. Hat would allow you to add hats to your current skin, presumably from any skin owned. Taunt, a slot where emotes can be set and would automatically play upon eliminating another player. Not sure if this feature was later reworked into the shout scrapped feature. Victory pose, an emote that can be set which would automatically play upon a victory royale. This feature was later used in early concept for Fortnite's UI designs. Cart blink, likely additional cosmetics for vehicles. If this is true, it was later revised in Chapter 5 with the addition of rocket racing and customizable cars in Battle Royale. Calling card. Calling card will work similar to how it works in Call of Duty, where your equipped calling card would be displayed on the enemy screen after you eliminate them. UI concept art exists of how this would have looked like. Map marker, likely would have replaced the icon seen on the map when you ping a location. Battle bus. Battle bus would allow you to customize the appearance of the battle bus and the music it plays. Unused and scrapped weapons. Throughout Fortnite Battle Royale's history, there has obviously been a lot of weapons released, but in the early days, Epic loved to experiment a lot when it came to adding weapons with unique elements, or just porting weapons from their existing game mode Save the World. Pump grenade. As weird as it sounds, this is actually something that Epic tried out, and it is a hybrid of both the pump and the grenade. Breakable pickaxe. As the name suggests, there was a pickaxe in the game that would have a durability bar indicating that it can break. Backpack minigun. Unfinished minigun with no start time. When shot, it has no cost ammo and has 100% accuracy when aiming. Chain grenade launcher. This is another unfinished weapon that shoots chain grenades, and it uses the proximity grenade launcher and the grenade launcher model. Hammer crush. This weapon is another one of those weapons from Save the World that were never added to Battle Royale. This version only has one shot and reloads incredibly fast compared to its Save the World counterpart. Monsoon. A Save the World weapon that never made it into the game. It has 25 shots and no charge time compared to its Save the World counterpart. Nailer. Another weapon planned for Battle Royale from Save the World. The Nailer has less recoil and a tighter bloom compared to its Save the World counterpart. Triple tap. Yet another weapon planned for Battle Royale. The triple tap only seems to shoot once, unlike the 3-round burst that its Save the World counterpart does. Auto shotty. This weapon is most likely an early version of the drum shotgun, with the difference being that it uses the room super shotgun from Save the World. Flamethrower. In Season 5, Epic worked on the first flamethrower of its kind. Sadly, this weapon doesn't do much other than shoot a fire decal, as fire wasn't implemented yet into the game. Super Shredder. Another weapon from Save the World that was supposed to be added in Season 2, but Season 2 was delayed, causing this weapon to be scrapped. Telenade. It's currently unknown what this weapon does, as it doesn't do anything when thrown, but we can assume that it teleports the player to the position the grenade lands at, similarly to an ender pearl from Minecraft. Blade. Back in Season 7, Epic introduced one of the most infamous weapons added to Fortnite, the Infinity Blade. It was so overpowered that it only lasted 3 days, but it still left a huge mark on the game. But did you know Epic actually planned to bring it back? The Blade item was found in the files around March 2022, and it works almost exactly like the original Infinity Blade, except this time it doesn't take up your entire inventory and it looks different. Jason Voorhees Medallion. Jason Voorhees was originally meant to drop a medallion when eliminated. This medallion would reveal nearby enemies who were low in health. It appears that this medallion was scrapped late in development and replaced with the Ghostface item The Last Call, which works similarly but reveals enemies regardless of their health. And that's Fortnite Battle Royale card content. Honestly, I could have added more things like early versions of items or other things, but I decided to pick the most interesting ones. If you would like to see another video talking about early versions of items and their differences, or more scrap content, let me know in the comments. Help me reach 1,000 subs by subscribing and use code STORM in the item shop, as it helps me out a ton. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next video.